All right. So Kenobi episode 3. I just literally just finished watching this like 20 minutes ago. 22 minutes
Yeah.
ago, right before I came on. So I had a long day, and then we came home and watched the episode. Um, Initial thoughts. What do you guys think? Like right off the bat, without spoiling anything, what do you guys think? Start with Brandon. We're good.
I really liked the pacing on this particular episode. I'm liking how they're. I'm young Leia's awesome so far.
Yeah.
You definitely see the Carrie Fisher influence in this child actress. She's been great so far. The opening scene with Vader was great. James Earl Jones back is awesome, and
Yes.
it's it's so funny comparing his voice acting as Vader in this to his voice acting 3 years ago in the Lion King remake, and how just you know people were kind of debating whether or not he just didn't care in the Lion King, or if
You read
if
the
it
script. That was
was
the
decades
problem.
of past. He just didn't care. He was just like, "Where's my paycheck?"
No. Yeah.
Redoing.
He read the script and he was like, "Oh, but really?
Why am I saying all these lines all over again?
Why is
Yeah.
Nyla? What did Nyla become leader of the pack? I don't know what you're talking about. This is stupid."
Yeah. Can I go home now?
Exactly.
But yeah, it was great to see him back because I was kind of questioning if it was going to be Hayden Christensen voicing him, because they had touted his return, or if it was going to be James Earl Jones. So it was very, very much a pleasant surprise to hear James Earl Jones' voice.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Martin? What you got?
Overall, this episode was great. Last week we talked about how we thought maybe prediction of what we thought about Reva. Obviously, everything what Brandon said was just money with Vader and all that. So I'll focus. I guess I'll take it to another focus with Reva. At the very beginning, when we saw the Inquisitors, she was the very first one to talk to Vader on the hologram, talking about the plan and what she did, and he actually gave her the opening go, like, you can be Grand Inquisitor. So it was just like, okay, now we see a little bit more of a role with Reva. Hopefully this gives Brian a little uptick on her character a little bit. But I mean, I know we're supposed to hate the villain, but I can't not hate. Like, I love Vader. I don't care what you say. Like, we're supposed to hate the villain, but I love Vader so much. Like, Vader's the coolest thing ever in Star Wars, and it's just like seeing her transition into her. It reminded me of young Vader, Annie, when he felt all that power. He felt, I'm stronger than everybody else, and then nobody could stop me. She is in those footsteps. She's
a good comparison.
From a Jedi transitioning into this evil Sith Lord type character, which we don't know her future yet. But I see this. I mean, but like Brandon basically said everything about like what I wanted to say. But I'll say a little bit about Reva there.
Yeah,
it was great. It was really great. I liked one thing about it though. When they were sitting and they were talking with stormtroopers back and forth, and there's a scene there, and Obi kind of messed up a little bit, and Leia looked at him like, "Oh crap!" Like,
she was like, "Grandpa,
I could see your mother in you," and that was oh man, that scene right there. I was like, oh man,
Freudian slip.
Yeah.
That was a good catch by Obi-Wan too. That was a good save.
Yeah.
No, but I think that was honest, and Leia caught that, and that's why she was like, I don't want to go through spoilers all for everything, but yeah,
she was just smart and brilliant the whole time. Like,
she is.
She's so
like,
fearless.
what are you doing? And don't worry, I got this. You sit back. I got this.
Yeah. She's so good at these things. Yeah. Oh my goodness,
I love her character.
Yeah. I gotta say,
one more thing that I want to add about Reva, Martin, just to kind of add into what you were saying. One thing that I really like about her character, and what kind of makes her interesting to me, and makes me want to see more and how she develops over the next, I believe it's 3 more episodes.
Yeah.
Her ambition, I really like. it's just like Anakin was as a character.
Yeah, very
And,
determined. Yeah,
he was like, oh, I'm so powerful. I can be more. I really like her ambition, and I'm really interested in seeing how that plays out and where she goes from here and where she ultimately ends up.
Vader's gonna kill her.
I can see that.
It won't be a thing. It'll be like you failed, neck broken, dead. That's what happened. But
yeah, if anything, this episode kind of
shows you that's who Vader is. He a badass.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We definitely saw that in that one scene in the town. So,
my question is, so I asked Tate this earlier, just to let you guys know, is the Grand Inquisitor dead?
I hope not.
You still think not? I kind of agree with you. I don't think he might make a comeback last 2 episodes or something.
He has to be the one who changes the whole thing with Reva. Like everything's going Reva's way right now. I think he's going to be the one that changes it. Everyone's going to rally around him. He's going to fuck it up for her.
Yeah, because
that's literally what's going to happen. And then
there's the 5th brother too, right?
Yep.
I forgot which one. The 8. Yeah,
he's
like
the one who's fighting for that.
Yeah.
Spot.
The spot. Yeah.
But I think that we're going to find out that the Grand Inquisitor is not dead.
Yeah. No. I mean, he can't unless unless you cancel Rebels, but you can't cancel Rebels because the Ahsoka show is gonna follow after what happens in Rebels. They're gonna go looking for Ezra and Thrawn, and Sabine's already coming back. They already announced it. Chopper's gonna be back, so that show's canon. Which the Grand Inquisitor plays a big role in that show. So I think, like what Brian said, I think he's gonna pop up towards the end and be like, "Oh, yeah, no." And one thing, I don't know if you guys read the comic books too much. Vader hates all the Inquisitors. Yeah. Like he wants them all dead. He wants them all dead. Like he's like, you guys are all trash and you can fuck off.
They're not real for him.
They're not real. Yeah, they're Jedi that are trying to be bad, but he still sees them as Jedi. He's like, therefore they should die. They're not. Yeah. So he kind of uses them every so often and really like torments them a lot in the comics. But he doesn't have control over it. The Emperor has the final say because they're the Emperor's Inquisitors. He appointed the Grand Inquisitor. Like Vader can't come in there and be like, "Oh, you're the new Grand Inquisitor." You're like, no. The Emperor already got the rules set with this. These are just toys you can play with, but you can't throw them away or don't forget they're mine. Yeah. So that's why I don't think the Emperor's gonna show up. Maybe that'd be pretty awesome if he does. Maybe at the end,
right?
He's about to kill the Grand Inquisitor too. He kills Reva, and he's about to play. He's like, "That Vader, Lord Vader," and he tells him, "Slow down." Bro.
Yeah. I can see Vader appointing Reva as the new Grand Inquisitor, and then the Emperor comes in. I doubt this to happen, but the Emperor comes in and was like, "Hold on, no." Kills her, and he's like, "No, my guy's still in charge, so shut up."
But that's the one thing I feel like one thing the Emperor did. He's never did that to Vader in front of other people. Anything he always did with Vader was kind of like, mostly behind the scenes. He's never directly in front of anyone else, say, "Vader, you're wrong." Like he gave them that power to do this. The only time it's always only with him and then his other number one, like in together in a small group. He'll never go after him. I think that's why Vader has to kill Reva.
Yeah.
And then the Grand Inquisitor, he allows him to live. He's like, "I allow you to live." No, he can't kill him because he's still alive, and the Emperor is still in charge of it.
Yeah.
So but I want to say about this episode, I'm not as high on the episode as you guys are. There are parts that I love because I love Darth Vader. I think he's the greatest character ever created in all cinema. Like I think that highly of him, the greatest character ever created, and so that he automatically keeps the level high. But overall, the episode was fly. I mean, how did Reva get to where Leia needed to go? Leia had like 100 yards to go. How did she get there? They just things that didn't add up. I didn't understand why they're allowing things to happen. Why Ewan McGregor was just or where Obi-Wan was just being that stupid about things.
Yeah, man, 10 years on Tatooine and solitude just really, kind of working as like a butcher on Tatooine or whatever he's doing, just really messed things up. Really did him in, really made him rusty.
Yeah, I mean, not just rusty. I mean, he hasn't used the Force for nothing. I mean, these are just regular stormtroopers. Wouldn't you think that, Obi-Wan Kenobi could say, like, hey, I'm not the people you're looking for. Like, these are regular, they're regular people. They're me and you, Martin. That doesn't make any sense. You can't control us with the Force. Like that doesn't make any sense.
I was expecting that. I'm like, oh, we're gonna see the Jedi mind trick, and nope. I was like, really? I felt a little like ripped off there. I was like, oh, come on, like you got to show you have it a little bit. But I don't know. I still feel like that's what the show is showing is like he gave up on being the person he was. I still see I see them comparing it to the prequel Luke kind of style. Like he went there, he cut himself off the Force. This and that, even though he's trying to reach out to Qui-Gon, but I feel like he has that block from the PTSD kind of,
definitely.
Stuff.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. But I see them trying to really connect like Luke from the sequels to Obi-Wan on Tatooine. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not like out of the realm of impossible of what he did because Obi-Wan kind of did it a little bit. But I don't know. I'm agreeing with Brian. Like I liked the episode. I didn't love it, and there's parts of it that I was like, it confused me. I was like, why are you sitting there watching, like him kill the people, watching Vader kill the people? Either run or help.
That was weird.
Yeah, like intervene.
Yeah, Vader feels
if you're
it,
not,
right? If Vader's going to know you're there. So if you would have just took off running, he wouldn't have felt you. And you know what would have happened? The episode would have ended because he would have got onto the ship and they would have got off the damn planet. That's what would have happened.
Yeah, and we're going under the assumption that this guy has spent most of his pretty much most of his life, training to be a Jedi, and you don't like how do you become that inept? Is what really kind of threw me off.
This guy went to Jedi's college to be a butcher. That's what happened.
He was just a regular Jedi. He's a master. He was
a master
of the council. He is. It's like Obi-Wan Kenobi is. There's not much better. Obi-Wan Kenobi is Mace Windu's power with the grace and the knowledge and the wisdom of Yoda. That's who he's supposed to be, and he's getting his ass whipped all over the place. And that's it's hard to watch, knowing understanding it, but it's still hard to watch.
And I kind of think of, when you think about Jedis, it's like, fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, and all that. All this is just reawakening everything that he hasn't done in a while. But exactly what you said, he's a master. Like it should just come easy to him, like riding a bike. But we're all expecting that, and I'm not trying to be, harsh about this, but maybe he really is determined to not do because he was fighting like ass. Yeah, he couldn't defend himself worth a damn.
Yeah,
it was crazy to see how much of a transition he has made. That in the 10 years has he really just like a whole decade? Do you really forget all that? Or I don't think.
How is he going to train Luke if he's planning on training Luke? How is he going to train Luke if he ain't practiced none of the stuff? That didn't make sense to me. Yeah, and I got a question. Maybe something I'm missing, but I thought Jedi are supposed to like not act emotionally, and that's not where the power comes from. Definitely. But when Leia was falling, it seems like Obi-Wan's emotions is what made him be able to use the Force, right? Mm-hmm. But isn't that counterintuitive for what being a Jedi is? And I didn't understand how the emotion is what finally pushed him over the edge, even though that's the lack of emotion is kind of what the lack of connection is what makes you a Jedi. It's kind of those things I just felt like it was like.
I think it's gone all out the window. at this
Yeah.
point. It's all
they say that a lot. Yeah, they do that a lot though. Like even like at the old ones, it was a lot of emotion. You know, like Luke almost dying. You know, where Leia like felt him. You know, so it's always like hidden emotions. It reminds me of like Dragon Ball Z, honestly. You know what I mean? Like it like with like, you know, once you get to your emotions going, you kind of get the power revved up a little bit.
Yep.
You know, but yeah, I mean, I just think he's has a block, you know, and it's the fear that's blocking him from allowing him to be Obi-Wan right now, because he still refers to himself as Ben. This is not Obi-Wan, and I know I said that last week.
No,
He even said, he goes, "Oh, the great Obi-Wan." He goes, "Nah, I just go by Ben." I was like, you need to realize who you are, and I think that's what it is. He doesn't think he is who he is. You know what I mean? For obvious reasons.
He has a web block.
Yeah, basically like Spider-Man 2. Yeah. So
I mean, every time he calls himself Ben, I'll fall back to, you know, I told you guys Supernatural how much fans I am, a fan of Supernatural. And so when God calls himself Chuck, like, but you're still God. And my mind is like, but you're still Obi-Wan Kenobi, dude. Like at some point, that has to change. Like at some point, it's like, all right, you know, when you show glimpses of it, and you're just a smart person who's been through this stuff for your entire life. All he knows is the training. You know, as he said, I don't remember mom and dad. I don't remember if I had a brother. But what I do remember is all this training. Then how come your training tell you, how about you get away from Vader so he doesn't feel you in the Force? If you feel him, he feels you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. He's just not thinking. I think he's not thinking right. You know, like it's still messed up in his head, because that's the part is like, why aren't you helping these people? But part of it's fear, you know, because like, I'll give Ewan McGregor a lot of credit, man. That's when it zooms into his face and he sees Vader for that first time. That he's got fear on his face, man. His eyes are big and it's just like you saw a ghost almost, you know, like I mean, he kind of did all really, but just fear.
Acting wise, Ewan McGregor is killing it, and he slipped right back into this role, you know, like a comfy pair of house
continuation.
Like I love watching him as Obi-Wan, and you even kind of see that progressive you know, evolution into the way Alec Guinness played the role, which I really like. And he's done that over the course of pretty much all his appearances in terms of, you know, his mannerisms, the voice patterns. So I really, really appreciate everything about Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. I might be a little biased because Obi-Wan's always been one of my favorite Star Wars characters, but it's always a pleasure to watch Ewan McGregor in this role. You could tell like the passion is really, really there. He loves playing Obi-Wan.
Yeah. I mean, I know he got the whole prequels got a lot of hate, so I know him and Hayden Christensen, like in one of the interviews, were talking about like how they had to deal with not being welcomed by the franchise, and now 20-something years later, they're beloved, you know, by a lot of fans.
That's funny because I can see Hayden Christensen, but I thought Ewan McGregor was always loved. Like, he was always accepted. Like it wasn't that it's not his fault that the prequel was crap. It was everyone was blaming someone else. You know, they said, but he did a good job. I felt like that he just, you know, he's going along with it, but that no one ever blamed him.
You know, even Hayden Christensen, you know, I think you know his performance in episode 2 was very but I thought he stepped his game up in episode 3, and I think the guy is a pretty good actor. Like watch Life as a House or Shattered Glass, he's really good in those. I think the content that he had to work with had unfortunately failed him, but he did what he could, and I thought that he was pretty good. And I thought he was pretty decent in episode 3. You know, in some cases you can only do as much as you're able to.
Yeah, or whatever the script allows you to.
Whatever the script, and you know.
Yeah. In episode 2, he had to be a young, stupid teenager thinking with the wrong head. but also you're the strongest freaking Jedi.
And you're forced to keep a lid on your emotions at all times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is the whole problem with Jedi, but whatever. That was what I was kind of getting at. That's the whole problem.
Which upsets me because I don't know if you guys read many of the books. I'm assuming Brandon did because you read a lot, but a lot of the legacy books, they kind of get into that where Luke has kids. He has a wife, so he kind of your emotions can be good and useful and stuff like that, So, but I was kind of upset why they didn't do that. But whatever. Yeah. So, we'll keep
talking. I'm gonna grab something. Hang on.
All right, but I was saying we got to keep it on this episode. So the Vader thing. So at the beginning, that was one of the coolest scenes in Star Wars. Just Vader getting assembled was super awesome, and he had these tubes. Yeah. I think I said Voltron because it was just the arms and everything like that. But it was definitely like Iron Man, being all Disney owned. But he had these tubes in his. I couldn't tell if it was his back or his front because he's all burnt. So
it was his back, I think.
It was like his lungs,
it was his front. Because that box that's on, it plugged into those holes. And I was like, holy shit, I never thought about it. That box directly goes inside of his body. And I was like,
keeps him breathing and living.
Or maybe help circulate the blood, help breathing. And I was like, oh, that's super interesting. Because when they put the thing on him, there was the chest plate or whatever. There was holes in it that fit right over it, and then they came in with the box, with all the squares and shit. And it went into the holes.
It went into the body. It sure did.
Yeah, and I was like, holy shit! I never even thought about it. And a little detail like that kind of got me super hyped. And I was like, oh, that makes more sense now. It's not just something hanging on the suit. It's inside of him. So I was like, huh. So just little things like that I thought were interesting, with it. But that was but that whole scene was super cool.
I gotta give you that was
the suit up scene at the beginning.
Yeah, it was so awesome. The whole thing, seeing them being put together, and you're right in the body. You saw even where the box went, it went inside the body. It was inside the
4 prongs.
Yeah, it was amazing. So that was super cool.
Yeah, it was pretty sick.
Yeah. By the way, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I went and dug out an old pair of work headphones from one of my former jobs. So.
It's perfect now. You sound good.
It sounds a lot better. It's not as
didn't want to be the odd man out. No more echo, right?
Yeah, sounds good. But yeah, man. I mean, this episode had me completely mixed. I loved it, and I kind of I didn't hate it, but I just didn't
love
get
it and question it, right? You loved it, but you had to question some parts.
The way it ended, like you said, it was wait, how did she? What? It was did she know where the tunnel went? Did she use some kind of forced teleportation?
It was going to a port, right? So
a
hangar. So she might have already known where the ship was. Maybe.
Yeah, but
she might have gone the other way or something. I don't know. Look, I've seen Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon go. All right, so she might have done the same thing. I don't know.
She passed up seeing Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fight. She just passed that up and just kept on going.
That's his job. Hell yeah. My job is the girl. That's
she only had to go 100 yards.
Hey, look, Jedi. That's all I gotta say. All right. That's probably what she did. I don't know.
But I don't think she knows the importance of the girl. She just knows that the girl is Bail Organa's adopted daughter.
Yeah, she doesn't think she's
because
Leia.
It's Organa. Well, she doesn't know who Leia is.
Right.
She just knows Obi-Wan's gonna help Organa because they're buddies.
Yeah.
That's all she did. The reason. So it's we're gonna kidnap and he's gonna go ask him for help, and then bam, we got him. So
I think she just looks at Leia without knowing who she is as a potential means to an end.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
It's
Yeah,
leverage
as of
against Kenobi.
Leverage. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's how I saw it. Like, okay, well, Vader's obviously dealing with him. I'm gonna go take this in case something else happens. But Vader was dragging that dude.
It didn't make any sense. The timing didn't make any sense. I was like, so she was like, all right, you keep running. It's right there. All you do is run right there. She goes back and helps Obi-Wan, and somehow Reva gets from where she is and in the city all the way to the hangar that took that long distance in like 2 seconds. Like it just didn't make sense. And then no one stopped her. Her fifth brother didn't say, "Hey, where you going?" No one did that stuff. She went on top of the rooftops or something like that.
You saw how she was busting out the parkour on the last episode.
There you go. She's jumping over buildings, man.
Yeah, just doing like Assassin's Creed style, like jumping, hopping, and climbing up the mountain.
That was confusing a little bit, but I feel like there's also alternative thinking that why would they film the way they got there, kind of thing, like maybe cutting that up into a single episode because like you could only fit some. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking outside the box. Like how would you? Why would we really care? Because now, if we saw it, would you really care? Like, I mean, if Taya went back through the tunnel, told Leia keep going, Taya ran back, would she go up another hatch or something? Would we really care about that? I wouldn't care. I'm like, okay.
I was just want to know how she got super speed. Like, I mean, I didn't know. Like, she got an extra ring or something like that. Like, you know, from Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't know what exactly is going on. It happened, but whatever. All right, you know. My biggest thing is how did she get away from the fifth brother who's watching her like a hawk right now? How is she the one that's able to go from in that building to that hangar with everyone looking at her and be able to get there and no one else know that she's there?
Well, didn't he say to fan out?
Like a sore thumb. So
didn't he say fan out and search out kind of thing?
Yeah, so they're just going from house to house to house. But fifth brother's not letting let third sister get out of his sight. Especially what's going on with the Grand Inquisitor now. So, I don't know. It's just and that my answer might be answered right in the next episode. That might say he didn't, and he let her do what she was going to do, and then he injured Reva, and he takes the girl, and then Obi-Wan takes the girl from him, and that's what happens. And then Reva gets killed because of let Obi-Wan get off the planet. Could be as simple as that. I just didn't understand it right now. I'm just questioning it today.
We think about Vader killing Reva. I think the Grand Inquisitor comes back and kills her.
That might be a good one too. That's I like it. I like.
I could see that. Especially since they pretty much established their relationship as a power struggle. Like to me, like one of the immediate comparisons, I thought it was very Megatron and Starscream, and
that's a good one.
So we've seen enough Transformers to see how that relationship and power struggle always played out.
Yeah.
So I could see I could see the Grand Inquisitor coming back and just offing her on site.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for a limb to get cut off. There's always a limb. Almost every freaking Star Wars.
Well, you saw how she cut that girl's hand, that woman's hand off in the first episode.
Oh yeah, I missed it. There you go. Thank you. I got my limb. I forgot.
Yeah, and this one, that stormtrooper got sliced in half by the laser gate.
There was always like an arm or a hand. Yeah,
there's always an arm, a hand,
pretty disgusting.
Or a leg.
Like that was nasty. Yeah.
Hey, I just want to talk about one thing real quick. Hey, Vader was bad as hell when he was walking through the streets, just like killing you, pull you out of your house, lift you up, killing you. The sun coming out, he's dead too.
Dragging people and
dragging them as he's going around. All right.
Definitely one up that scene from Rogue One, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. That Rogue One scene was still good.
It was so dope, right?
I don't know.
No, I think the scene itself was cooler for sure. It just looked awesome. But also he was killing like people meant to be fighters, you know what I mean? Like rebellion people. he was killing like a kid that ran out because his dad's getting choked, and then kills the dad, and then this one was more.
This is
more
shows
brutal.
how heartless
Yeah.
he really is now.
Oh, he's very
He
dark.
has
Yeah.
They
no
showed how
connection to
dark he
anyone.
was.
He has
Yeah.
nothing in his mind. It's all about just exactly what he's one goal, one thing. That's it. And that changes things. I mean, that really changes your outlook on him.
Before we talk about how dark he really was in that fight scene, before we get to that, you could just see the transition. Like, obviously he's been through a lot, but like, we're talking about the scenes of Rogue One and that it was just, he's not the same person that we kind of seen throughout the series. Like, he is
definitely,
they changed him a lot. It's very dark. There is hatred beyond belief
right now.
Yeah.
For all this other crap going on.
He is. They brought back that comic book series of Vader that we read, or if you've read any of the how dark he was, before the Dr. Afra series, which is kind of funny. But yeah, it was just very, very dark, and I was like, this is the Vader I read in the comic books, and
definitely,
I'm like, damn, this is dope.
This is the greatest villain of all time. You talking about. We love Marvel. I love Marvel, but Thanos has nothing on Vader. You know what Vader would do to Thanos? He would have broke his neck and held him up in the air and just broke his neck immediately. Like, Vader is it. Like, he could think about it and kill you no matter what. He makes you suffer too. Like, he could have killed the father. He just held him up in the air and let his son see it, and then killed the son, and then killed the father. That was cold.
Yeah,
Killed the son first, then killed the father. That's why I was like, that's a bad man.
Yeah, that was ruthless. So ruthless.
I think Vader was one of, like, off topic, but I think when he was in Soul Calibur, if you guys are familiar with that game.
Definitely.
there you could get the Vader unlockable. I was like, done. Like, it was so cool, man.
I think it was Vader was only PS4 and Yoda was Xbox.
Yeah. I was like, I'm so glad I got the PS4 version, because damn. But
that was pretty awesome.
It brought back that nostalgic for me, that when I was reading as a kid how dark he really was. I wonder if they give him the lightning force that what we reread in the comics as well, but we'll see. I don't know if that'll happen or not. But I don't know if you guys want to talk more about that, or if you guys want to jump into that fight scene at the end.
That's what we gotta talk about, the fight, because that fight.
Oh, we have to.
That's the big one.
Yeah, that really changed how dark he was. When what he told him, he's like, you are now going to feel what I feel, or what I felt, and what you did to me. And I don't know if you guys want to explain what happened, but it was,
first off, that was the biggest Michael Myers or Halloween or Jason walk I've ever seen. Like, he just, I ain't running after nobody. And then he just comes out of nowhere. Once again, he just like comes out of nowhere and turns his lightsaber on.
Michael Myers through and through.
That was so epic. And he was just badass. It was straight badass the entire time. And he was looking at him like, yeah, you're nothing to me. Like, he was doing, Obi-Wan was doing anything he could to not die. And Vader was just like,
like, please.
Whatever you do, this is stupid. You're terrible. I'm gonna tell you how terrible you are as I kill you. Like, and I'm going to light you on fire, and I'm gonna drag you, and I'm gonna talk to you slowly as you get dragged through. I mean, he is it. That was it.
Yeah. And it's looking at that fight in comparison to their last fight in Revenge of the Sith, where they were basically on equal ground, and Anakin lost because his arrogance more or less got the best of him.
Arrogance is what killed you.
Yeah. Like, and then just to see Obi-Wan essentially get friggin' bodied by him. For like putting it lightly,
without two legs and one arm. He got
Yeah.
I'm surprised we didn't see like the training montage of like, you know, like when the guy gets beat and then like he trains for like a whole year nonstop and comes back better. Like that's basically what Vader's been doing for the past 10 years.
10
Was
years.
just like nonstop training for this one moment.
He's had a 10-year Rocky montage. You know?
Yeah, exactly. You know.
He's in the snow picking up stuff. Oh my god. Or I guess mentally doing that because there's no need for him to actually do it.
Yeah. He's a torso.
Yeah, right. With stubs.
Yeah.
Left him.
Yeah, but I mean,
basically to die. It was just nuts.
Yeah.
Well, so while I was watching that, especially towards the end of it, you know, so Vader picks him up, Force grabs him. He's not choking him, I don't think. Makes him drop his lightsaber and pulls him into this fire that he created. And I was just like, damn, that's really powerful. Even for like a Jedi versus a Sith that he can do that. I was like, that's how bad Obi-Wan has become. Like with the Force, like he can't even stop
protect
like
himself
somebody else from. Yeah, you know, which is what I always thought was kind of like weird, you know, but
it kind of makes sense, right?
Just so
we said we were waiting for him to use the Force to say, you know, these are not the droids you're looking for. It would have been a perfect callback to that. But he can't do it. He is mentally not strong, emotionally.
He's got too much fear in him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
which doesn't make sense. Why does he fear Vader? Why would he fear him if he already beat him? So
because
I don't know
he knows
he doesn't know. He didn't know Vader. He didn't know Vader existed. So he doesn't know all the bad stuff and how bad Vader was. So is he fearing Vader or is he fearing the thing that he did? He left his Padawan there to die.
Yes.
Yeah.
He left because that is exactly what he told
his
him.
Brother. Yeah, he left his brother there to die when he could have saved me. He could have done anything. He could have ended his suffering. Mm-hmm. He left him to die. He did the most un-Jedi thing, and he's not fearful. He's fearful to face the Force. He's fearful to look other masters in the eye and say, I'm a Jedi.
Yeah, and that you know, and plus, you know, in addition to that, like you said, he left his Padawan there to die. His Padawan survived, and he's still one of the leading Siths in the universe. So obviously Anakin has heat for Obi-Wan at this time. Like we got business, you know. So Obi-Wan is more or less kind of shitting his pants in that regard too, I feel.
But you know, if he was doing that, if he knew, if he thought that, you know, we were still on the same level, you think he would just man up. But it seems like he's gone so far from trying not to be a Jedi that he is just fearful to really open up to the powers anymore.
Yeah, you know, it's that probably the you know, like the mental toll, like losing his Padawan to the dark side, you know, having to chop his limbs off, you know, losing all of his Jedi brethren, you know, going into exile. So I feel like there's a lot, but
mentally for him.
Mentally. Yeah. So yeah, you know, there is no but. There's just a lot.
That was going to help him because, you know, when I can't remember what her name is, the one who dresses up as a guard, whatever.
Taya.
When Taya told him a lot of Jedi have been through here, and he recognized some of the names and all that stuff, I thought that was going to give him a little bit more confidence.
Ooh.
And instead, it gave you exactly opposite.
Quinlan was one of them.
All right, so what do you guys? How do you rate this episode? Episode 3 of of Obi-Wan. How do you rate it?
As a Vader fan, it's a re-immerse of, I guess, not your hero because he's not hero, but your well. I mean, he could be a hero in some eyes at the very last minute of his dying life. He does somewhat bring balance. I don't know.
He's always brought balance to the Force.
Well, because
that's what he did.
He did what he did. Just he was 30 years late.
No, I think they just looked at the wrong. They said he will finally bring balance to the Force. Not realizing we have all these damn Jedis and we don't have that. You don't see any Sith Lords anymore. But he brought balance there, right? Didn't he?
No, yeah,
But he brought balance. You just didn't
One good
realize
guy, one bad guy.
Yeah. You just didn't realize what it was going to be.
But for me, like I felt like it was a now because if you wanted to see how dark Vader really was, I felt like it was a now. Like you saw that what blew my mind is when he drug Kenobi, his old master, through that fire that he created, and he told him, "You're gonna feel what I felt." Like, damn, that was dark as shit.
Right?
Like, I was like, damn, I'm done. Like,
I was actually happy they went there. Yeah, that said, I think the Vader scenes pretty much made this episode. You know, like some of the Obi-Wan Leia stuff was kind of you know, it was very here and there, and it hit or miss. But the Vader stuff was where it was at, and I think to an extent that's what you guys, and a lot of people were probably waiting for, and it's inevitably going to have to be watched anyway. So that said, I'd give it a now in that regard, just for the Vader scenes alone.
Yeah, I'm going to be pretty much the same place with you guys. Darth Vader just makes him being anything makes it almost a now. Like he just used the Force to make me disappear. But
you've been doing that all day. You've been doing it all day. Freaking Scotty's beaming him up all day.
I don't know.
All day.
It's this shirt. I don't know.
Try and fade out tonight before. We tried to do it at Dynasty Pylon where he would fade out, but
there you go.
Yeah, create a shadow. There you go.
And then we can just get rid of you. That's what we can do. That's what we can do. Coolest outro ever, bro.
Oh man, that would be awesome. I'm telling you, like Spider-Man, I'm starting to learn how to do this on my own, doing on command. But I think the episode is okay, but Vader is excellent, unbelievable excellent. Like he is, I said, the greatest character ever created by any genre, anything. He is the best, and because of that, you need to see it. You need to see it immediately. The rebirth of seeing Vader again is a stop wherever you're doing. Stop washing the dishes. Stop doing homework, and go see him immediately.
Yeah.
That's
totally.
That is exactly.
So, but
on point.
the rest of the episode, I'm going to say you can wait to decide what it is later, because it left you with too many questions. And if it turns out they answer those questions in episode 4, now this is even a better now. So go watch it now, and then watch the episode 4, and this episode might be ranked higher depending on the answers we get in episode 4.
I agree. Yeah, I'm gonna say now for same reason for Vader. I mean, it's Vader. I mean, come on. So but also like I just felt like this episode was how awesome are Skywalkers. You know, Anakin and Leia. Like Leia she's gotta be the greatest little actress I've seen in a very long time. She is playing the character so well. She's
so good.
And
she's
great.
great.
Dakota Fanning, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, how you steal the show? Yeah, steal everything.
But it's also like she has to be like, hey, you need to be a little bit of Padme, and you also need to be Leia, but future Leia. You know, so you have to be the beginning parts of that as well. So it's like she's kind of like in a box on how you have to be, and she's just completely crushing it. You know, and then obviously, you know, Anakin, you know, Vader, you know, just every time he shows up on screen now, he gets more and more ruthless, you know, and cold-hearted, is bad, evil, like damn,
going into the past, and we're seeing really what he was, and what we saw was the best ever, but he was talking a lot. Now he ain't talking worth shit. He's like, I'm all about doing.
You know, I mean, and it's also like a lot fresher. This is 10 years since the Mustafar, you know, fight, where when we go to episode 4, you know, New Hope, that's what 20 years after Mustafar. So things kind of you know, your priorities start to change a little bit, you know, like whatever, you know, like I need to rule shit. instead of just being a vengeful kid, you know, because he's still fairly young at this point too. But yeah, so it just those were like super awesome. I loved it. There are some parts where I was kind of like questioning and kind of like, ugh, but it didn't ruin the episode for me. I'm gonna give this a now. You know, it just for Vader alone is super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Vader was this episode.
Yeah, push it over the top
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. And I gotta say,
you just saw him walk through the street, and he like commanded the presence. The entire everything was just like, oh, y'all see that? That's Vader. You know, that was just me watching it. I was like, hey, I was telling my wife, that's him. Why am I whispering? He ain't gonna see me through the TV. You know, but it's just that's who he is. He's that epic.
Yeah, and I think it like you saw in some of Reva when he kills the boy, and it kind of cuts to the Inquisitors, and they're just like, ooh, and it's like the opposite of what they were kind of doing because they're still partly Jedi, where he's full Sith. You know, where they're like, oh, if they don't have hope, then blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, I don't give a shit. Snap neck, you die, you die, you die. You know, and even like Reva like got like they all kind of like took a step back a little bit, like, oh, you know, oh shit, like this guy's real. You know,
he'll kill you just as fast. You know, you get it cross him. He's about the bottom line. If you don't do the bottom line, then you're dead.
Yeah, Vader doesn't do empty threats. So if he says you fail, you're gonna die, you better not fail. So, but I gotta say, Reva was less annoying in this episode. It felt like I didn't mind her in this episode, because now there's that power struggle of who's gonna be the new leader of the Inquisitors type of shit. So that I don't mind, but I don't I don't know how they're gonna do it because obviously the Grand Inquisitor has to come back, but that's an answer for a later episode.
Yep.
For now, it's funny.
I was looking for this image earlier.
That's
while
awesome.
we were talking about my background.
Yeah.
And he's
I got to step up my background game.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get you a green screen. I think we all have green screens back here. So, but cool, man. Anything else before we move on? Oh, I do want to do one quick thing. We'll try to keep it quick because we've already been on it for a while. Is predictions? Any predictions for episode 4, 5, or 6?
We kind of mentioned a few of them.
Yeah,
well, at least I think.
Yeah.
I mentioned one. The Grand Inquisitor coming back and killing Reva.
That's good. I'm going to say Obi-Wan fights Vader again.
Oh yeah, they're gonna come to blows again for sure.
Yeah, he's gonna and he at least step his game up a little bit, and to a point where Vader finds him as a threat again.
Yeah,
at least that much.
I mean, they're doing the Dragon Ball Z stuff, you know, like Goku gets his ass kicked and then realizes, you know, he has to fight for the right reasons, and then comes back and turns Super Saiyan. You know, so yeah, so that's what's gonna happen. Appreciate it. Thank you. We're at 232 subscribers. You guys are amazing. We really appreciate all the subscribers, all the love, all the comments we've been getting. So thank you guys. But that being said, we will see you guys next week on Monday for the movie review, and then next week Wednesday for episode 4 of Kenobi. But that is it.